Hey, everybody on Periscope. Thank you so much for checking out the scope with Toresa B Speaks. Today is a timely topic of discussion, and so I'm getting ready to do my show, which airs on Magic 104.9, West Michigan's #1 urban radio station here in this area, on this side of the world. So if you're just popping in to my scope, first let me introduce myself before I get going. My name is, if this is your first time checking me out, I'm not on Periscope enough, so please forgive me because I need to do better. But my name is Toresa M. Blakely, aka Toresa B Speaks. I am a media personality, talk show host, travel advisor, female business badass extraordinaire. But you know, we've been hearing a lot about what's happening out here in the world when it comes to this topic of criminal sexual abuse. And we know that this is a topic that is hitting in so many areas. And so I'm getting ready to do my show. But I want to thank each and every one of you who are popping in. And, you know, if you are vibing with any of the conversation that we're getting ready to put out into the atmosphere, do me a huge favor. Show some love. Give me some hearts. Comment. Let me know what you're thinking. If you have questions, too, you can put those up there in the chat. I'm not going to be able to talk back to you once I get started. But again, conversations that matters. This week's episode with me, we're just going to talk a little bit about what's happening in the world today when it comes to this particular topic. We know that this topic affects so many around the world. And for many of you who may pop in, you might have a family member who has experienced this traumatic event, or you might have a friend who's experienced something like this. But my heart has just been vexed this week. And so I just want to have a conversation. And listen, if this is your first time checking out Toresa B Speaks on Periscope, thank you so much. If you've checked us out before and you're like, I haven't seen her in a while, and you popped in, I want to say thank you. And please do me another huge favor and like Toresa B Speaks, share it on your social media platforms, and you know, just let people know that we're out here and we're engaged in those conversations that matter around life, health, entertainment, business, and music. So we're going to get ready to go ahead and get started. But thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Good afternoon, Grand Rapids. Thank you so much for tuning in to Conversations That Matters with your girl at Toresa B Speaks. Listen, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, and I'm super thrilled. We are finally in the month of March, and we are on the cusp. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. We're on the cusp of spring approaching us later in this month. And West Michigan, y'all know, because we've been in it together. This has been a winter to remember. And so I know many of you if you're anything like me, you are ready for some sun. You are ready to peel off those hats and those coats and those sweaters and all those layers and just enjoy some sun and have some fun, right? Yes, 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 yes. So listen, today on Conversations That Matters with Toresa B Speaks, I just want to engage you all in a conversation today. We have a lot going on in the world. And for many of you, if you've been following and if you've been listening to me, this year on the air, we want to engage you not only in highlighting, different individuals across the country who are doing amazing things that are making a difference, but we want to engage you in conversations that matter. We want to go hard in the paint with some of these conversations. Some of our conversations may even be controversial, but again, it is my intention, it is my hope, it is my desire that once we have this conversation with you on the air, that you pick it up and that you continue on in the dialogue around the tables in your kitchen, in your living rooms, in your cars, wherever you are when you check out Magic 104.9. But listen, it's a lot happening in the world today, family. And today, what I want to begin a conversation around, and I believe that we're going to continue on in this for a few weeks this month, or maybe do a 2 or 3 part series. But I want to talk about one of the things that I wrote down was mishandling of young girls and criminal sexual abuse. And this topic of discussion is really resonating with me for 2 reasons. Really, it's for 3. But the first reason is because about 5 years ago, I did a 2-part series with someone who is an expert in this particular area by the name of Dr. Charles Hobson. And he wrote this book entitled Passing the Trash. And within the context of this book, he was talking about criminal sexual abuse that is happening in our schools. And so I felt the need to bring this topic of discussion up again, family, because there has been a major uprising of news coming out about criminal sexual abuse conduct, not only in our schools, but we are hearing this conversation being played out right now in the entertainment world, with R. Kelly and people in media, and within people within the confines of our sacred places that we call church, in the white churches, in the black churches, in the sports arenas. We have been in a position as adults who have children who are underage and not of age of consenting, but we have placed our children in the hands of these individuals across the nation who we have entrusted. These are the adults who we have entrusted our children to. We've expected them to watch over our children. We've expected them, we've entrusted them to protect our children, only to discover that some of these individuals who we thought we could trust have been the very people who have taken advantage of our nation's children, while we as the adult, as the parent, as the aunt, as the grandmother, as the father, as the mother, as the brother, as the sister, were totally unaware of what was taking place with our beloved young one. And so this month, as we begin February, I want to talk about this with you. And, I would love it if, if you're hearing conversations that's coming out of my mouth over the airwaves that resonate with you or you can identify with, I want you to call into the station and, share your thoughts or share your insight or whatever the case may be. And so it's just really been alarming. And I think one of the reasons why this has just been even more alarming in 2019, 2018, and a few years prior to that, is we are being exposed to it a lot more because we have these things called cell phones. And so I don't think that this is something that has just begun to take place. I think this is a problem that has been happening for years and years and years. But because we have access to news immediately, it's just like in front of our face, seems like at every turn. So, I want to just go here for a little bit in the first part of the show, and I believe when we come back from our break, I want to sit and have a conversation with a young person right here in West Michigan, and I want to share insight from the vantage point through the eyes of someone who falls within this age group. This has not happened to them, but we know that young people see things that oftentimes adults miss because we may not be paying attention for whatever the reasons. And I know that this has to be the case because when we look at this story that's unfolding before our very eyes, and I'm highlighting this person, but this is happening in so many places. But when we look at people such as R. Kelly, and we are seeing this story unfold, it is absolutely mind-blowing to see how, and to also know how something like this could have happened for so many years, just completely overlooked for so many years for a gamut of reasons. And I know there's been a lot of finger pointing and accusations and so on and so forth. And I don't want to get into that on today's show, but I want to talk about this because this is happening everywhere. Again, I shared earlier, it's happening in the world of entertainment and media. It's happening in our Catholic churches. It's happening in the Black church. It's happening in the white church. It's happening in our schools. It's happening in the sports arenas and in areas where our children are playing football and basketball and other different types of sports. It's happening. And then it is happening right in some of our families. And guess what? We're not talking about it. And it's time now to engage in a conversation that matters around this topic, because we have too many people, too many young adults, too many adults who were once young adults that have been victims of this type of behavior, and they've been put in places and positions in their lives, within their lives, where they feel that they are not able to express this very sensitive area that happened to them. They're not able to express for whatever their reasons are. They feel like they can't tell what happened to them for fear of rejection, or they're not going to believe me, whoever that they are in their lives, or feeling like they're going to be blamed by someone saying that it's their fault that this tragic thing happened. Well, beloved, no, it's not their fault that something like this could happen to them. And so I really want to just talk about this for a minute. So I'm a word person, and I'm into what a word or something means. So if anything today, I hope today's conversation that matters is a conversation that educates us and causes us to take pause and make us look at not only ourselves, for those of us who are parents, for those of us who are uncles, for those of us who are sisters, for those of us who are grandparents. I want this conversation to begin to make all of us begin to take pause as to what is happening within the confines of our personal families, whatever that look like, whatever those dynamics look like, and pay attention to. But also look at and pay attention to the atmosphere of where our children have become exposed to, and who are the people that we call adults, well-thinking adults, intentional adults, that we have entrusted our kids to. We need to begin to pay attention to the interactions, okay, that are taking place. Is it interaction that is positive, where this adult or these adults really have our children's hearts in mind in a good way? They want to impart wisdom and insight into them in the schoolhouses and in the churches, wherever they are? Or is the intent to want to eventually take advantage of our children? You know, when I had this conversation with Dr. Hobson a few years ago on my show, my eyes were open even more to so many things that I just looked over. And so again, today's conversation that matters. When we go off the air, I really want you to begin to take an inventory of what's happening in the world of your children. And maybe it's time for you to begin to entertain them or engage them in conversations that you have been pushing to the side. So let's talk about words for a moment and get a better understanding of what the meaning or definitions of these words mean as we look at how things are beginning to unfold with many individuals across the nation when we talk about criminal sexual abuse. So let's go here for a moment. What is a pedophile? So I'm giving you the definition. A pedophile is a person who is attracted to children. Again, today we're talking about criminal sexual abuse. We're beginning a conversation that matters on this topic. And if you're just turning on to Magic 104.9, I want to say thank you so much. This is your girl, Toresa B, speaks of conversations that matter. And I want to tell you, it's an honor and a privilege that you have allowed me into your space wherever you are on this beautiful day. A pedophile is a person who is attracted to children. Now, the main topic, if you will, that I would put over the top of this criminal sexual abuse, we're going to put this under mental health, because I do believe that this is a mental health disorder. And from the conversation that I had with Dr. Hobson and through reading his book, I did learn and I did discover that this is a mental health condition. Yet, it does not excuse the behavior that these individuals have subjected our children to. So, pedophile is a person who is attracted to children. What is pedophilia? Pedophilia is sexual perversion in which children are the preferred sexual object. Let me read that again. Pedophilia is sexual perversion in which children are the preferred sexual object. It is a psychiatric disorder in which an adult has sexual fantasies about or engages in sexual acts with a pubescent child. Let me read that again. This is under pedophilia. Pedophilia is a sexual perversion in which children are the preferred sexual object. It is a psychiatric disorder in which an adult has sexual fantasies about or engages in sexual acts with a pubescent child. Now, I hear some of you saying, okay, Toresa, what is pubescent? I've heard that before, but I'm not quite sure what it means. Well, let me tell you what it means, because we're going to get a clear understanding of what's happening today all across the nation and right here in West Michigan. And we are going to begin to engage in those uncomfortable conversations that are happening in our families, in our schools, in our churches, etc. And it's time for us to call people into accountability, whatever that looks like. So here's what pubescent means. It is the period of development immediately preceding puberty. It is the period of development immediately preceding puberty. What is puberty? We all know what it means, but let me give you the written definition. It is the period of becoming first capable of reproducing sexually that is brought on by the production of sex hormones and the maturing of the reproductive organs. What is puberty again? It is the period of becoming first capable of reproducing sexually that is brought on by the production of sex hormones and the maturing of the reproductive organs. Now, what did I say at the beginning? A pedophile is a person who is attracted to children. Now, let me share something with you. This is a staggering statistic. Teens and adolescents, especially adolescent women, are at greater risk for sexual assault than any other group. Listen to this. Between 1/3 and 2/3 of sexual assault victims are age 15 and younger. That is mind-boggling. Between 1/3 and 2/3 of sexual assault victims are age 15 and younger. Now, listen to how this all comes home. Approximately 1 in 5 female high school students report being physically or sexually abused. Today, we're talking about on Conversations That Matter with Toresa B Speaks. Criminal sexual assault, the mishandling of our young girls, the mishandling of our young men on Magic 104.9. Hold on, we'll be back in a few minutes. So Periscope, let's continue on in the conversation. And then I'm going to go off the air with you all so that I can finish my show. But listen, this is a timely topic, right? This is a topic that nobody can consciously choose to overlook anymore. Why? Because it's happening right in our very faces. And I don't care how many times we try to look over it or act like this is something that is not happening to you. The reality of the matter is this is something that is directly connected to you. Why? Because you have a friend or an associate, or there's someone that you know, period, a loved one that you know, or even maybe this is you. These people are experiencing it. We may know somebody right now who this is their personal story. How can we assist them? How can we walk through this tragic, horrific thing that they're experiencing so that they can escape, if you will, to a safe place, to a safe space around safe people who genuinely have their best intentions at heart, so that they can address these issues and begin to heal whatever that looks like. We're talking about criminal sexual abuse amongst our young people. Those between the ages of 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and in some cases, a lot of cases, 15, 16, 17. We're not going to even get into the adults, because now we have adults who this was their experience when they were these ages, and they've walked around carrying all of this chaos and mess for years, and it has messed them up. And so they're walking around today in all places and in all spaces of America, and we're totally unaware, but this is their story, and they're operating out of dysfunction from what happened to them back here because they trusted somebody who they thought really cared about them. Somebody manipulated them. Somebody was able to get into their head for whatever reasons. There was the parents who trusted the adult to actually take them on the trip to wherever, to experience whatever it was that they were supposed to experience, only to discover that this adult or these adults that we entrusted our children to were being violated by these very individuals who we thought had our best intentions, had our children, and as the adult had our intentions, best intentions at heart. But it was only for a demise, because there was a plan, there was a plot, there was a hidden agenda that we were totally unaware of. And Dr. Hobson, he really broke this thing down with me. And so I want to encourage you, Periscope, before I go off the air. If you go to In Life Now Radio on Blog Talk, blogtalkradio.com/InLifeNowRadio. IN, just like you see it in the background. Well, part of it's cut off, but INLIFENOW. Put that in your search bar on your website. Type in blogtalkradio.com/InLifeNow. My radio page is going to pop up in that search bar, so you don't have to flip through all of the pages, because I got 100,000 episodes. But type in Dr. Charles Hobson, Hobson. It's a 2-part series that I did with him about 5 years ago. And I believe they happened in the month of July, like in 2012 or 13, something like that. But at any rate, you'll find them. Go and listen to those shows, because he is sharing a lot of useful information that you need to know right now. You need to know this information right now, because it's relevant, it's real, and it's happening right now, present day. This is 2019. We can no longer continue to ignore our young people. We cannot just sit by and think that they got it all together, because they don't. It's time for us as adults of these beloved young people. It's time for us to stop being so busy and begin to pay attention to these young folks. Some of these behaviors that they are displaying could be because it's an outward manifestation of something they may be dealing with privately, and they're fearful in sharing with you, Mom. They're fearful about sharing with you, Dad, because you've been detached from them. And because of your detachment, the pedophile knows who the weak ones are that he or she can prey upon. And so these become vulnerable individuals that have doorways open for the pedophile to walk through something called grooming. These are our coaches in the schools. These are our piano teachers. These are our trumpet, our voice coaches that we are entrusting our children to. These are our teachers. These are the Sunday school teachers. These are our pastors. If you're in the church world, I'm not, but these are our pastors of all people. These are our priests of all people. These are those in leadership abilities, whatever that looks like. But these are people that we have entrusted our children to take care of them, to watch over them, to protect them. But instead, they are taking advantage of them. So listen, I don't want to take up a lot more of your time. I hope that what we've shared with you on today, through this Conversations That Matters moment with Toresa B Speaks, I hope that it has inspired you. I hope that it has empowered you. And most of all, today, I hope today's message has challenged you in the area of your personal life and those young individuals around you to pay attention, to become aware, to begin to engage in a conversation, to ask those questions, to challenge those adults. Okay? But challenges you into learning how to live your best life in life now. I want to say thank you so much. I appreciate you. Again, if this was information, if this conversation with you today, what was something that you felt was useful and something that is needed, please continue on in the conversation in your circle. With your circle of influence. And please do me a huge favor and share this live stream, share this replay with those within the connections and within the confines of all of your social media platforms. Listen, if you want to get in contact with me personally, first of all, I'm on all social media platforms. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Toresa B Speaks. That's Toresa, the letter B, the word speaks. You can find me there on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Please go over and like our Facebook page for In Life Now Talk Media, at In Life Now Talk Media. But I love you guys. I appreciate you. Have an amazing day, and I'm going to do my best to continue on and sharing conversations that matters with you over on Periscope, and also you can find us on YouTube as well at In Life Now Talk Media. All right, I love you guys. Bye-bye.